Trust and privacy on online platforms. It is highly important and relevant to our daily life, since from the moment that we wake up till we go to bed, we carry at least one smart device with us. Those devices know what we say, what we eat, and what we watch. Even though we don't use them actively at night, they still work and collect our information. But what made those devices to know about us that much? It is actually all of those consents that we give when we visit a website or when we download an application. Those data collectors are called cookies and third parties. They are the digital supply chain partners of websites. But how did we come to this point? How did they know that our information is valuable to begin with? It all started with marketing people assuming that if you know your customers, you will know what they need, and if you can advertise based on their needs, your marketing strategies will be more successful. Websites started adapting their online business model with having third parties to collect information and provide targeted advertisements. This got advanced with the new development of data collection processes, and third parties became the backbone of websites. So if we talk about trust and privacy on online platforms, we're actually talking about third parties. Some of you may have heard the daughter and father story of Target supermarket in the United States. One day, a man in Minneapolis walked into a Target store and wanted to talk with the manager. He was angry that they were sending coupons of baby clothes and cribs to his daughter, who is only in high school. The manager didn't know what to say. They double-checked the address and everything, and in fact, they were sending maternity coupons to a high school girl. 1 week later, the manager got another call from the dad, where he was apologizing and saying that he had a talk with his daughter, and it turned out that she was pregnant, and she was hesitant to share this information with her dad at the beginning of her pregnancy. At that time, this got viral and created a big backlash against Target supermarkets. So isn't it eerie that Target figured out that she was pregnant even before her father did? This story and many more stories that have been shared on the news and social media was just the beginning of people being worried about their privacy on online platforms. Many regulatory agencies and governments started taking actions to respond to this concern. What can we do to protect user privacy on online platforms? General Data Protection Regulation, GDPR, is the pioneering action that is taken by European Union to respond to this question. There are many parts of this regulation, but specifically for users, companies are obligated to share their information with their users, and users have a right to say yes or no to information sharing with those third parties. It has been 8 years that this regulation got into effect, and there are still arguments on how much effective it is and whether there is need for more. This was a perfect research question for researchers like us in information system. By the way, my name is Sule Kutlu. I'm an assistant professor at Business Technology Management area at Haskayne School of Business. In this project, we use game theory, which is basically mathematical modeling, and data with empirical analysis to see what actions can be taken and what are the consequences of those actions are. We found that regulatory actions, basically giving consent to users, may have unintended consequences like increasing data sharing in online platforms. In order to observe this, we visited 100,000 most popular websites from 2 different locations for 30 days. In one of the locations, we have a regulation that just got into effect, and the other location was our control group. We were able to see that location with regulation has higher number of third parties compared to the location with no regulation. This is because this type of regulations are one-fits-all type of solutions that works like a sledgehammer that is applied to all industries altogether. If we think about it, a person who visits a news website has lower privacy concern compared to a person who visits a healthcare website, such as cancer treatment blog. Since third parties can cross-track, once the user gives the consent, they end up sharing more information. However, non-regulatory actions can be a good alternative to this, since they will work like a scalpel for a specific industry compared to the sledgehammer metaphor that we use for regulatory actions. In this setting, a nonprofit organization or a government creates a safe alternative, which is a subsidized website to no harm to privacy. This will increase the competition in the market, kind of other players in the market to use less number of third parties, and this will make the users of that specific target market more happier. Even though this is not something currently that we observe in online platforms, there are similar applications of the same logic in different industries, such as postal services in the United States. Since it wasn't profitable for private postal services to go and serve rural areas, United States government created the US Postal Services to serve those vulnerable groups. And here, if we think that people with high privacy concern as vulnerable people, our subsidized websites are going to be created to serve those people and make them happier. Let me introduce you one more thing before you finalize the thoughts of third parties in your mind. After we talk about third parties, did you start thinking that third parties are completely bad? If you think so, our other paper can change your mind. Remember, at the beginning of this talk, I mentioned that third parties are digital supply chain partners of websites, so we can think them as friends of websites. And there is this phenomenon in many different cultures that tell me who your friends are, and I'll tell you who you are. With this logic, we use third-party information of websites to detect fake news websites. With the combination of machine learning algorithms and heuristics, we are able to detect fake news websites with 94% accuracy. And since this analysis can be done with only checking third parties, it can be completed in a matter of seconds without checking the content of websites. And currently, we are working with Alberta Security Commissions to detect fraudulent cryptocurrency investment websites, and we are looking forward to use our algorithms to protect Canadians. Overall, we have different suggestions for stakeholders of online platforms. We suggest policymakers to use a mix of strategies based on the needs of the market. Currently, Canadian government is in the process of creating a privacy regulation for us, and we believe that there is an opportunity to learn from the mistakes of other regulators and do better for Canadians. When it comes to companies, make sure that your third parties, which are basically your friends, are a good representation of yourself, and try to avoid the backlash that the Target supermarket experienced. In order to do that, it is better to invest on long-term sustainable goals, such as investing on your users to build that strong trust relationship, instead of investing on your user data, which may damage the brand image of your company in a matter of time. And finally, individuals. Know your value and value of your data. Take your time and have a control over what you want to share. Remember, this is just the beginning of us having the control of our data. Once we get the ownership, there can be further discussions such as porting your data from one platform to another one, or even monetizing your data. Promise me, once you leave here today, you will click at least once to manage your cookies. Thank you for listening to my passion and looking forward to discuss it more after the talk.